dude, some of my happiest friggin' moments are literally talking to God before bed or being at a local church just worshiping with my friends. Like,
dude, I was just talking about this. I was literally yesterday, I was like, I got 100,000 views on this one video, and then like all these other things started popping off, and there was all these good things, and then like one of my like great friends, he's super cool, but he like got pretty popular, and then there's a lot of stuff going on, so he never like really we would never really talk that much. We started talking a little bit, and like all these good things were happening, and all this and this, and it's like I went out to go celebrate and hang out with like my parents and like friends and stuff, and like, you know what I found out yesterday, like, because a lot of the times you go like, dude, I need to rest.
Yeah.
Right? But part of that is like, I'm gonna go on a little tangent.
Yeah, go on a tangent.
Part of that is like, when I did that 7-day week of realizing I don't need to do anything, and everything is just I want to, and I get to, and stuff like that. Yeah. Once I fully like really understood my identity and didn't care anymore, one of the things that I really started to prioritize was really dedicating a 7th day to the Sabbath.
Yeah.
And that was something I like did before. Like, I'd try not to be on my phone that much on Sunday, like just different things.
Yeah.
Like, but the biggest thing that hit me was, like, I stopped working on Sunday, so I don't like do any work or anything like that. Sundays I just don't do anything.
Me too.
I would just hang out with people.
Yeah.
And at the end of Sunday, no matter how much work I didn't do or no social media or whatever, and rest I thought I did, I was never just, I didn't feel rested at the end of the Saturday or Sunday or whenever you do Sabbath. I don't think it matters what day it is. I don't think it needs to be Sunday, but for some reason I didn't know what the problem was, and then I found out later, like it really even confirmed it more yesterday. It's like when you hanging out with people and going and doing like enjoyable things that you want to do isn't really resting. Like, I think the best way to rest was just like, the most I feel fulfilled is when I sit in my room. I don't go out. This could be anywhere. Like, you could go outside somewhere here and just like sit and pray. Like, that's like just sitting in my room and just like reading by myself, drawing, like laying down and actually just worshiping Jesus.
Yeah.
And dude, I don't feel rested unless I do that.
Oh,
dude, so yesterday I was all these things are happening, and I go out and I'm doing all these exciting things and I'm celebrating all these things are happening. I was just like, dude, I don't feel rested. And I think that's part of that exhaustion that I had.
Yeah.
So I never rested.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I'm so close to God, I don't need to rest. But it says so many times in the Bible, rest is a gift.
Yeah.
Rest is the Lord made rest. There are so many
one of the
things.
10 commandments.
It's a good, dude, you need to rest.
Matthew 11:28, come to me all of you are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest.
Bro, so good. You need to rest. And so, whenever I just sit down and just worship Jesus, bro, all of a sudden, I'm like, dude, you know what, bro? I don't need anything, bro. It's so good. So every Sunday, it's just a good reminder, yo, I don't need anything. I'm chilling. I don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
Just gonna worship, relax today. So
what's interesting, I saw something that said a lot of people think of rest as brain off activities, so watching TV or watching Netflix or whatever. But I've heard that statistically you actually get the most rest when you're doing something that you don't feel as work, but it keeps your mind like drawing is a good example, or painting that keeps your mind occupied. I've heard that that's where we get our most. I read about that in a book called Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. Yeah. But I do think Jesus is the ultimate rest. Coming to Jesus and worship or just being with him, there's nothing like it. But I also forgot, I felt like I wanted to make a point about this earlier about the workaholism, because I told you the whole testimony so you understand why I have this view. Yeah. But it's very biblical to work hard, but it's also very it's very unbiblical to be so busy that you don't have time for God. Yeah. There's a John Mark Comer has a really popular Christian book. I haven't read it yet, but I've been recommended it 1,000 times, it's called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And I guess the concept of the book is that if you're always in a hurry, how do you expect God to communicate with you? And it's if you think of God as any other relationship, you make time to talk to him and hang out with him, It's exactly what we're saying, bro. If you get too busy for your family or friends, then you're going to miss out. You might post 10 videos, but you could have had one conversation with one person that would have helped you post one video that would perform better than all 10. But because you were so busy being busy, you missed out on that advice and you just made 10 mediocre videos instead of one. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know who gives the best advice is Christ. God gives you better advice than any human can. It's like, if you're so busy that you'll never take the time to listen to him, then it's just like, you're just eliminating your own benefit. And that's kind of my biggest takeaway. And it took me years. Like, I definitely was nowhere near where you're at on your level. But my biggest takeaway for like going into this year is like, the issue is not that you won't rest or that you won't listen to God. The issue is that you have deemed certain things work and you've deemed certain things not work. So like, I would be willing to bet that when you sit down in front of your timeline on Premiere Pro or DaVinci Resolve, you feel like that's work because it's like editing.
Yeah.
But there's parts where I got so bad with it that I convinced myself everything that I enjoyed wasn't work and everything that I didn't enjoy was work. So like the editing and the grueling stuff, I was like, this is work. But then I'd be like sitting down, having the conversation on the podcast, that's not work. I would feel like I didn't do work if I did that, which is, which it's such a bad habit because then it's like stuff like you might enjoy reading a lot, but then you feel like, oh, reading isn't tangible like editing. So you feel like it's not work. Yeah. And once you begin to like feel that everyone wants to have purpose. So if you don't define things that give you purpose as work, such as spending time with God or praying, reading the Bible or reading some book, then it becomes very low on your priority list. And that's where I've like this year just had to redefine what is work. Like every morning, Bible's the way I start my day. Every like I try to spend 30 minutes a day where I don't have a phone or a book or anything, and I just sit and I'm like, it's not like God's like popping revelations into my mind, but I'm just like, I want to get in the habit of creating time for him to speak to me. And I feel like it's almost like a lie of the enemy that you need to be so busy that you can't, like I really feel like workaholism is the biggest addiction in America that's the least talked about.
Yeah. I didn't even think that was a thing. So now that we're talking about this, I'm really realizing how crazy it is to pray for an addiction to work. That's crazy.
Bro,
why did I do that? I mean, they provided it. It sucked, but
you know, it's funny because I've heard pastors say, like, first of all, you did learn from it and you're reflecting back.
Yeah.
And I've heard pastors say, like, essentially, bro, if my 10-year-old, which like prayers got granted, I would be screwed. If my 20-year-old prayers got, it's like when I was 10 years old, I was praying for a bunch of candy. Like I'm glad that I didn't get like unlimited candy. And then when I was 20 years old, I was praying for this chick to like me. Yeah. I'm glad this chick didn't like me. And when I was 30-year-old, I was praying for this career to work out. And I'm glad. And the point of the exercise is that like God. A huge reason people aren't willing to follow God is because they don't agree with how he runs the world. They don't say that's why they're not willing to follow him, but their actions imply. So they'll be like, they'll be like, yeah, like Christ is cool. He was a wise teacher, but I couldn't follow him because I don't want to stop having sex. And you go,
yeah.
And the reason they think that is because they think their life is better with sex in it. Again, I have a whole podcast talking about why that's not true and whatnot. But the point I'm trying to make is that, or like in the Bible, they'll be so offended that like women are supposed to submit to men.
Yeah.
But just like you can look back on your prayers and be like, oh my gosh, that was such a stupid prayer. It's like, yes, we are getting smarter and we know those prayers are stupid and our prayers now are better. But it's like the same thing with running the world. It's like you look at God and you have issues with certain parts of the Bible and you think that if you were the God of the universe that you could run the world better. But it's like, bro, at no point when you look back in your life do you feel that way. So it's like, why are you assuming that? I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense.
No, it does.
It's kind of a deeper thought. But, and it's like, even me, bro, there's stuff that I still don't get still don't understand. It's still like I read it in the Bible, like, whoa, that's really intense. This guy was just killed for, God just struck this guy down because he did this. That doesn't really make sense. But I just asked God, like help me understand, help me make sense, because I know, like,
Yeah.
it's always made sense. Like, there's always been revelations in the past. So I'm like, I just know that I'm gonna get to heaven one day, and it's gonna all make sense, because it's just always, God's proved that time and time again to me. So I don't know.
Dude, that's so cool, man.